This is an organization that has an apocalyptic end-of-days strategic vision, and which will eventually have to be defeated.
Welcome back. I'm Marissa Semkiw. The Pentagon says ISIS can be contained, but ultimately must be destroyed. This comes after U.S. Secretary of Defense said ISIS is more than just a terrorist group. Hagel called the terrorists one of the most capable groups the U.S. has ever dealt with. Former State Department senior advisor Christian Whiten joins us now from Los Angeles. Christian, it seems as though the Pentagon is saying one thing and Obama is doing another. What's your take?
I think that's right. And this, frankly, is reminiscent of the phony red lines in Syria. To say that this evil force has to be defeated, well, I think a lot of people are signing up to that idea. But there is absolutely nothing this administration has done in its past that signals it's willing to do that. And frankly, what this is looking like so far is a lot like the humanitarian intervention that NATO undertook in Libya. There's no clear plan to change factors on the ground here, to push Sunni Iraq in a different direction from ISIS.
Everyone acknowledges that ISIS is a major threat, not just in the region, but also poses a major threat to the United States, especially in light of the video that came out of James Foley. Why has the Obama administration not done more to defeat ISIS? Because it seems as though they are simply maintaining the status quo here.
It is, and it's important to remember that ISIS came out of Syria and the Syrian civil war, about which the Obama administration has done next to nothing, to the shock and horror of some of our allies like Saudi Arabia and, for that matter, Israel. So this has been an embarrassment for the Obama administration. And as with Libya, they're not acting on a broad strategic goal with a clear strategy, a clear objective. They're only reacting when it looks bad for them. So the possibility of a humanitarian disaster on the mountain with these Yazidis, and now this murder of the journalist Foley. It's very odd that we act in these cases, but didn't react when, for example, the U.S. ambassador to Libya was killed. Very odd.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, what do you make, in terms of optics, what do you make of President Obama heading back out to the golf course 2 minutes after delivering that speech about Foley?
I think it's just, it's a shame. You know, so much of the presidency, we talk about it being a very powerful office. So much of it actually isn't being commander-in-chief, but it is the rhetorical power and the symbolic power of that office. And when you throw that away by consoling the parents of someone just murdered by Islamist jihadist terrorists, by going golfing and yucking it up with other people on the golf course, it really diminishes the office. And I think, you know, Americans of both parties, especially very nervous congressional Democrats, are really upset by this.
Now, I want to get your reaction to a clip of Defense Secretary Hagel, so have a listen to this.
They're beyond just a terrorist group. They marry ideology, a sophistication of strategic and tactical military prowess. They are tremendously well funded. Oh, this is beyond anything that we've seen.
Beyond anything we've seen, he clearly recognizes the threat. You know, what do you make of his comments?
Well, I think it's good to be very concerned, and there are some things about the Islamic State that are seminal, that are unlike others. But again, it's so reminiscent of the early part of Syria, where they talk tough, the administration. You'll recall they said Assad must go very early on, but then they're not going to follow through with anything. And recent reports show the president is extremely insular, not really listening to his cabinet. So Hagel can say one thing at the Pentagon, but like so much in this administration, it's just words without real meaning.
We heard from Canada and Britain following the death of James Foley, and they both indicated that they were going to up their game in terms of how they're going to you know, send military support into the region. We haven't heard that from Obama yet. How do you think their plan thus far will change at all?
You know, there's been so little that's affected this administration's policy because it's so doctrinaire. I can understand why the UK and Canada are reacting. You know, my colleague Robin Shepherd, writing in The Commentator in the UK, noted that some 1,000 to 1,500 UK nationals are fighting with various jihadist groups. And the person who killed Foley had a British accent. I mean, these people are focused on consolidating in Iraq and Syria now, but they're coming for us. They have global ambitions far beyond what the Taliban had. So I'm glad some governments are reacting. I just wish my own were with more than words.
You know, what do you think, going forward, what do you think will happen with ISIS? Is it likely that they'll be defeated? And what would it ultimately take to defeat them if the Obama administration has no intention of actually putting troops on the ground?
I don't really see how they could be defeated. There's no power out there that's going to restore Iraq as a unitary state. So we're dealing with three Iraqs. I do think you can deviate the Sunni part of Iraq, or essentially the state of Sunni Iraq, away from ISIS with a combination of airstrikes, but you have to support someone on the ground. You can't take ground, really, with air power. You have secular Sunnis. We employed them in the 2007 surge of forces. They're they're in Saudi Arabia's Rolodex, and I've been on their payroll. Unfortunately, they were betrayed by Maliki and indirectly by the Obama administration. So there are factors there that we can use if we want to use smart power. But nothing out of this administration or the West says we're going to do that.
Now, as we know, the Obama administration has been providing military support to the Kurdish forces. Have they done enough to support them?
I don't think so. If you actually listen to the Kurdish generals themselves, they're very clear that they are grateful for Western support, including support from Canada, the UK, and other NATO countries. But they need more heavy arms. They have some experienced fighters, especially up before 2003 when they were fighting Saddam directly. But they need more training and more support. And that really is our best thing going in that region, is Kurdistan, which is sort of gravitating toward its own independence movement.
Christian, let me ask you very quickly, with just a few moments that we have left, do you think that America should put troops on the ground?
Only if it's part of a very clear strategy and a global strategy to undermine Islamism and undermine jihadism, but not if it's just pell-mell answering the inbox PR moves. That's what I would do.
All right, Christian, well, we'll be following this. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.